piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Martin Luther King Day, moviegoers. Happy Monday. Welcome to a new episode. Welcome to episode 228, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I'm joined by the cast, the crew, the guys. Edward.
What's up, folks? How's it going?
Zach.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Craig.
Hola.
And it is Playoff Monday. I'm excited. It's Cowboys Monday, but it's a whole new movie Monday. And today we're talking about the menu. Guys, how was the weekend?
Actually, good. Yeah, it was solid.
Just another weekend. You know, nothing.
Solid. Another
nothing
weekend. Zach?
Fair to Midland. What can you say?
Fair. Wow.
It was okay. It was fine.
You know, it sounds like we could all use a little pick-me-up. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk a little pick-me-up. We're going to talk about a brand new movie like we have done the past few weeks. Speaking of last few weeks, if you guys were not with us last Monday, go back and listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We talked about Glass Onion, the latest Daniel Craig movie, Knives Out mystery. Find out who liked it, did anybody love it, and who hated it. Go back and listen to the episode wherever you listen to podcasts. Social media, if you guys have not heard or watched an episode yet here, find us on the social media, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is @Cine-Men405, or you can email us. Email bag is returning next Monday. Email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. So email bag coming back next Monday. Glass Onion is what we reviewed last week. And some of the email bags, guys, which we'll get to next week, some people say we were a little too harsh on the old Glass Onion, but it is what it is. If you guys want to know our opinions, go back and listen to it.
I mean, like, they can say we're harsh, but I mean, Zach, you.
I was the highest one out of all of us.
And you love Knives Out. We all pretty much enjoyed Knives Out. Give it like probably 8 to 10. Just something about Glass Onion that didn't tickle my fancy. Did not pique
interest.
Yeah. All four of us actually didn't tickle any of our fancies.
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again, but it's not really like I just am over the wall about it.
Speaking about some of the stuff we might have watched, anybody check out anything recently that anybody wants to get off their chest?
Me and Craig were talking about it over the text message thread. The Last of Us, the new HBO Max series.
I watched it today. I watched episode 1 today. All hour and 27 minutes of it.
Phenomenal.
Yes, I'm lost.
Phenomenal.
I guess I am the Last of Us to watch it.
There you go.
I'm not. Okay. I didn't watch.
Yeah, we all know why you don't like the show. Go ahead and say it.
I didn't watch
Pascal.
I didn't watch the video game. I didn't play the video game. I watched the episode.
I've never played the video game either.
The first hour of the episode, I agree with Zach, was phenomenal. But the last 27 minutes, it kind of just left me blank, and it was kind of slow. I honestly would have been okay if this was an hour-long episode.
I somewhat agree, but I have an idea of where the video game goes.
Exactly.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
No, the final 30 minutes was fine. There wasn't a, I planned on watching the first 15 minutes of the show to kind of see where it was at, because it was like midnight when I started it. And I was like, it's going to be 1:30 when I go to bed. I could not turn it off.
Stop. Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, as saying here, I was just going to watch probably 30 minutes of it before hopping on or whenever we're going to do the show, and I got through the whole thing. I'm very excited about where this is going to go.
What's up, Liam? Same.
I wouldn't mind if it was just an hour, though. I don't know. If it's not a movie, an hour and 27-minute TV show doesn't interest me.
Well, So it probably will turn into an hour long. It was just that first episode was probably an hour
Yeah.
27.
You guys see
They had to set up the world and everything.
You guys see the poster for Mandalorian season 3?
I did not.
No,
Yeah.
No.
looks pretty interesting. But why wait any longer? Let's talk the top 5. We are talking our top 5 favorite Ralph Fiennes movies. If you guys have not been with us, we are talking the top 5. It's a fun little segment we have every single week. Play along. Follow us on any of our social media accounts. You guys can also watch us
Here you go,
live.
Craig. Here you go, Craig.
You-
That's the poster.
Not bad. Not bad.
You guys can also watch us live 6 p.m. every single Monday right here on Imasawa Productions YouTube channel. And hit us up on www.prescribedfilms.com, the PFPN. You can find a bunch of great content there as well. But guys, we're talking the menu today, which stars Mr. Ralph Fiennes, and we are talking his top 5 movies. This is going to be interesting. I don't think we've hardly really talked any Ralph Fiennes movies. Maybe a few back in the day, but we've never really spent too much time on him. So I think it's going to be fun to dedicate a top 5 to the guy. I have some honorable mentions. Does anybody else have any?
No.
No.
I'm going to go through and say The Kingsman. He was fun and terrific in that. And then my official honorable mention is going to be The Reader. So, Zach, we'll start with you, number 5.
Number 5 is pretty much the prequel to the series, Red Dragon, about Hannibal Lecter, retired FBI agent with psychological gifts, is assigned to help track down the Tooth Fairy, who Ralph Fiennes plays in the movie, with the forensic psychiatrist Dr. Hannibal as a aide in investigating the case. He is generally creepy in this movie, and he pulls it off brilliantly. And obviously Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter is one of the great cinematic villains, but he can rival him in this movie. So number 5 is Red Dragon.
Nice. Number 5 for me is going to be probably one of the franchises that a lot of people know him from. Number 5 for me is going to be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I don't think you can bring up Ralph Fiennes and not talk about Harry Potter, just because of how important he is to this entire franchise and how he really is to the character. I heard, I'm not a book guy, but I heard he played the character to a teat, and a lot of people was very, very pleased with his performance. And the second Deathly Hallows, in my eyes, is probably one of his best performances in the entire franchise. So number 5 for me is going to be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which I'm excited to say we are going to be diving back into this franchise a little on later in the year. Edward, number 5 for you.
Number 5 for me, I'm going to go with 2010's Clash of the Titans. He plays Hades. Ralph Fiennes just brings it, man. I mean, you've got a lot of iterations of Hades going, or Devil, or Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want. But I feel he brings a genuineness in his own right to it. So I thought that was a pretty cool role for him to touch upon. Yeah.
Craig, number 5 for you.
Gonna touch it. My number 5 is going to be. I'm going to go with the menu. I think he, without saying too much, I think for somebody who had to kind of be the star of the show, he delivered. I'll put it that way. So that's my number 5.
Zach, number 4.
Number 4, had to put this in here. I totally forgot. I forgot he was even in this movie. Number 4 is Kubo and the Two Strings. Young boy named Kubo must locate a magical suit of armor worn by his late father in order to defeat a vengeful spirit from the past. Once again, Ralph Fiennes plays the bad guy as the Moon King, but you also have the awesome voice cast of Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey. Terrific movie. It's beautifully animated. I got to see that in the theater, and I think that was like one of my top of 2016 or whatever it came out. So number 4 is.
Is that a stop motion?
Yeah, like stop motion animation. It's like part stop motion, part CGI animation. It's really well done. So number 4 is Kubo and the Two Strings.
Nice. Number 4 for me is I won't spend too much time on it because we talked about it a few years ago. A few years ago already. Damn. Number 4 for me is No Time to Die. He's not in it a lot, but the way he portrays M in this very last film, and the way he has some scenes with Daniel Craig is just phenomenal, and the dialogue back and forth is great. So I think he did a great job as M in this final James Bond flick. That may be the very last Bond movie he does as well. So number 4 is No Time to Die. Edward, number 4 for you?
Number 4 for me, I'm going to go with the number 4 in the franchise, Goblet of Fire. Throughout 3 movies, you get the voice and different things and a lot of talk about the character, but you don't get to see the character until the last bit of the 4th movie. The embodiment of Voldemort, he who shall not be named, is an amazing thing in this, and how they play out the entire scene at the very last bit of the movie is practically perfect from the book to it in my eyes. So yeah, Ralph Fiennes coming up with that, and every line he delivered was just spectacular. So yeah.
Craig, number 4 for you?
I just want to say one thing I can't stand is people who the book was accurate. Watch the movie. Don't compare. Number 4 for me. Number 4 for me is going to be The King's Man. I enjoyed him in that franchise. I think his, much like M, he just suits that role very well. So number 4 for me is going to be The King's Man.
Nice. Zach, number 3 for you?
Number 3, Johnny, you had the last film he was in. I'm going to start with Skyfall as my number 3. The first time he plays him. I think when you watch the movie, you figure out his name is Mallory. It's kind of obvious where they're going to go with that. But I thought it was a great transition between Judi Dench's M to Ralph Fiennes' M, and I thought he was the perfect casting for that role. He kind of fits, obviously, the British gentleman, I guess you would say. I'm glad that he was kind of in the beginning, kind of a not a nemesis, but kind of he didn't really agree with what Bond was doing in the beginning.
He had resistance,
yeah, and just why did you come back? Why didn't you just stay dead? And I thought like that relationship through the last 3 movies really worked. So number 3 is Skyfall.
Nice. And guys, I want to mention this right quick. We talked about all the Daniel Craig Bond movies a few years ago, and I gotta say, even though James Bond may not be my cup of tea sometimes when it comes to an action movie, those are some damn good Bond movies, and it's going to be super tough for anybody to follow what those movies did. So I just got to say hats off to those movies. Number 2 for me. No, number 3. I'm only at 3. Number 3 for me is going to be Schindler's List. I can't remember. We have not yet talked about this movie, right?
I don't think so.
We were going to, and I think this is the year that we might, because it turns 30 years old.
It turns 30, yeah.
It
30 years old this year.
Turns 30 years old this year. So I know we're going to talk about it this year, but he is just. I won't spend so much time on it since we will. But Ralph Fiennes, when you talk about the evilest of evil in this movie, the dude is top notch when it comes to acting, and a lot of his stuff gets overlooked because he's M or he's Voldemort, but when it comes time, the dude can act. And my 3 movies for him can flip flop either way, but number 3 is going to be Schindler's List from 1993. Edward, number 3 for you?
Number 3 for me, call me cheap. I don't really care, but these are the movies I personally really enjoy him in. So it is what it is. Order of the Phoenix. The very, very main protagonist of Order of the Phoenix. Straight out of the gate, you man, it's just a lot of Lord Voldemort or Ralph Fiennes in this. So it's fitting that with Harry going through so much that they have such a big kind of I don't know, worth it moment in the end, and he gets revealed to the Minister of Magic, who's wanting to just not even think about it. So this one, especially that last battle between with the sand or glass for that matter that got turned into sand, that was a brilliant use of CGI and just effects. So yeah.
Craig, number 3 for you.
Number 3 for me is going to be. I'm just going to kind of group them all together. The world of 007. I know he kind of outshines in other films compared to some of the others, but again, just that role, like you said, the switch over from Judi Dench to him as M was almost seamless. I mean, you go from the movie to the next movie, and you're like, hold on, somebody else played this character, and it's when you're able to do that and you're able to just kind of blend in that character seamlessly, it really speaks to how well you can portray that character and just make it a part of that world without there being kind of like a something's off about this guy moment. You know what I mean? So that's going to be my number 3 is the 007 franchise.
Number 2 for me is going to be it's on HBO Max as well, from 2014, The Grand Budapest Hotel. He's a funny, nitwitted character in this movie, and it is Wes Anderson at his finest. If you guys have not seen this, I highly recommend it. It's funny, it's nitwitted, it's out there, it's got a fun cast. The Grand Budapest Hotel, number 2 for me. Zach, number 2 for you?
I think that's probably the most Wes Anderson film ever, honestly, out of all of his films. Number 2, going back to the other franchise, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I agree with you, Ed. I mean, granted, he's only in the movie for about 15 minutes, but it hits. It's just like, okay, so everything we've been leading to, everything we've talked about this character, Ralph Fiennes embodies it. And just like the sense of evil and the sense of just unpleasantness, like when he's being like born like out of the cauldron or whatever, it's just so nasty and like demonic looking.
It is
and so
disgusting.
when he's finally revealed and like his nose is kind of like a slit and everything, and he opens his eyes, is like, okay, so like Ralph Fiennes embodies this perfectly, and I'm very excited about where this franchise is going. So number 4 is the Goblet of Fire.
So I mean, with that, man, you've got a lot of different things going on, and most people don't even know that he's on his father's grave. They don't even pay attention to that line at all. You know, his Muggle father's grave.
What's your number 2, Ed?
My number 2 might be surprising to a lot of people, but No Time to Die. Playing him in that, like Johnny said, like Juan said, I felt it was very, very cool to have the dialogue back and forth between him and Bond or Daniel Craig, whichever. It was cool to not see him really as a villain, but still
although they kind of set that up to be kind of he's a villain.
I was about to say it's almost, but not fully, but all, but no, it's cool to see him in a different light for that matter, and to see his kind of not really action chops, I guess, but more of a just
Craig?
Dialogue heavy and all that. So
number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me is going to be 1998's The Avengers. I'm just playing. No,
I was wondering if somebody would.
Number 2 for me is going to be just the Harry Potter franchise. I mean, Lord Voldemort, he is the ultimate kind of leading into everything for that movie and those films. and dude knocks it out of the park. I mean, when you want a villain, he delivers on every scale. So number 2 for me is going to be the Harry Potter franchise.
Every skill.
Nice. Is it my turn?
Number
Is
one.
there-
Number one.
Number one. I won't spend too much time on it. We're going to talk about it today. The Menu.
That good, huh?
That good. We'll
All
see what I
right.
think about it. Zach?
Number 1 has already been mentioned, but it's a Schindler's List. I think, like you said, I think we're going to talk about this year in honor of its 30th anniversary. So we'll just save the conversation for later.
Ed, number 1?
Number 1 might not come as any surprise to anybody. Is mentioned already. Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Oh, I was going to say the Lego Batman movie.
You know,
It was there.
It was almost that whole battle. I mean, it's an embodiment of that character. Can't argue book versus movie. That either one doesn't matter. Sorry, but that is Lord Voldemort. Simple as that. That's all I've got to really say.
Craig, number 1 for you?
Number 1 for me, I agree with you, Zach. Schindler's List. Not only does he help elevate that movie, but the movie itself is fantastic. I say fantastic, but it's very, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's
a fantastic movie
Very-
about a tragic
It's a
event.
fantastic movie. Yes, it's
Very
hard-
real.
It's
Yeah.
hard to watch.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Today we are talking about The Menu. Go check it out on HBO Max. I believe it's also out soon to buy on physical media. IMDb
Tomorrow,
has it at 7.3. Rotten Tomatoes is at 88%. The Metascore is at 71%, while the Google users are at 83%. With a budget of $30 million, it did gross over $77 million at the box office, with a November 18th, 2022 release date. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. Starring Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Hong Chu, John Leguizamo, directed by Mark Mylod. Guys, we're talking The Menu. We're on our January kick. We're talking a lot of older or newer 2022 movies. I got to say, this was a pretty fun watch for me. I watched it last night. I did not get to see this in theaters, so I've only watched it just this one time. But the entire time I watched it, honestly, it kind of kept me on my toes, and it made me just think, and it made me wonder what was next. It was only an hour and 47-minute movie, and it did not drag at all for me. So I can't wait to get into it. Zach, what about you? Did you check it out in theaters? Have you seen it more than once? What was it like for the watch?
No, this is a first-time watch. This movie came out during Thanksgiving, and during Thanksgiving, 8 billion movies come out during that holiday weekend. It's just one we didn't get to go see. I'm with you, Johnny. I was on the edge of my seat with this movie. I was very, very impressed, and yeah, we'll get into it.
Ed, did you check this out in the theaters, or was this a first-time watch?
Yes, first time and the only time so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any early thoughts? One word?
Pretentious.
Okay.
Oh.
Craig?
First time watched it last Monday after we got off the podcast. I was laying there and I was like, let's just get a head start on this thing.
Nice.
Give me some time to ponder on this movie because I thought it was going to be different than what I saw. So
I thought it was going to be a little different too. I didn't know what to expect. I will say right off the bat, I got some huge A24 vibes. So you know that's always good for me. That always gets my motor going.
I think Anya Taylor-Joy helps with that.
Of course. Also, guys, I don't know. I got this in my notes, but whenever the scene was solely on Chef, did you guys hear the eerie music in the background that made you feel like you were watching The Dark Knight? Did anybody else get that?
Yeah.
Ralph Fiennes, The Dark Knight.
Did anybody else get those vibes from when the Joker's playing and you hear that long violin string going?
I just think it's very, it's a 5-star restaurant. It's fine dining, and I think with that classical music, fine dining and classical music, and I think just that collaboration of the two really helped kind of elevate it.
We grew up. We grew up in the time and the era of reality TV, so we see all these chef reality shows. I know I got some of you guys to watch The Bear on Hulu. Um, so the
Which congrats to him on that award.
he did win the award for that. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I gotta say, this movie was so detailed all the way down to the final ending when it came to Ralph Fiennes and his character. When I made this movie the number one for Ralph Fiennes, you truly have to say that this movie is solely on his shoulders. If you can't believe that he's an eerie, creepy, disgusting, but yet brilliant chef, the movie's not going to succeed. No matter how outlandish the things are that they do, or the food that they eat, or how outsidish the characters are, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the movie rests on his shoulders, and the dude kills it with his performance. Yeah, this is a comedy, horror, satire, and you're not made to believe. You can't take it serious, but yet you have to. Ralph Fiennes just kills it in this movie, man, and all the way down from you know Welcome to Hawthorne, No Pictures, introducing the courses. Man, I was this movie blew me out of the water. I did not know it was going to be this good. I don't know about you guys.
I got pieces of Midsummer vibes with the staff, the support staff, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How they were just very like, you knew that there was something more that was going on, but the staff was still very stern.
Like Elsa.
Like Elsa.
Elsa was good.
Oh yes. I'm thinking you were talking about
one of the Asian house helpers.
Like the first hand or whatever you want to call her. Whenever she was going through and talking about their living arrangements, I was like, first off, that shit's hella creepy. And when they were talking about seeing the house and that's where Chef lives and nobody goes there, I was just like, I agree with you. Very, very. The A24 vibes were high.
What'd you guys think of the first course?
I mean,
talking about the
island
on the boat.
The island.
It's very ostentatious.
You don't seem too impressed with this movie.
Me,
Edward.
I mean, don't wrong. Like in my head, I'm after part of the ending. It just kind of.
I don't think you like satires, though.
It's not really that. Satires are fine, but this one just everything was just too. I don't know, man. It
is it the filmmakers being pretentious just to tell like a moral statement, and it doesn't really come off that way? Is it that?
Sort of, kind of, just because, like, okay, you go this entire movie, and first off, Nicholas Hoult, I did not like throughout the entire, like, the character, okay, cool, but Nicholas Hoult just, and forgive me, I am not trying to be offensive for anything, but did he seem kind of autistic, like he was playing an autistic role?
Oh my!
No, I think
I'm just like, he didn't.
I think his character. I think his character is supposed to represent obsession.
Yes.
And by the time you get to his end, basically, the obsession metaphor pays off because, like, he puts him on the spot and says, "Cook me something."
Big payoff.
And he thinks he's done something good, and he says, "No, this is shit. Like, just go die." Basically,
yeah.
It's like
that was so...
What jump in a little bit, but
yeah.
No, I agree. Like, I'm watching the movie and I'm seeing his character develop, and I'm like, I don't really like Nicholas Hoult as Tyler. I understand that Tyler's written that way. I feel like somebody else could have portrayed that character a little bit better, but at the same time, his somewhat goofy smirk
fits me perfectly.
Obsession with something as simple as, I'm not going to say as simple as food because I understand food gets very complicated and deep, but just his obsession with how he feels like it's tied into everything about life.
Well, also you got to look how they made him just be possessive over. Let's go ahead and spoiler alert. We're 30 minutes into the episode. If you have not seen this movie, go check it out on HBO Max now. Margot is not who you think she is.
No.
You know, throughout the entire movie, Chef is like, "You're not supposed to be here. Why are you here?" And
Who are you?
who are you? And come to find out, she's a paid prostitute, paid by Tyler to come and accompany him to this ravishing restaurant where he knows he's going to die. He knows she's going to die, but he paid her anyway to come and die with him so he wouldn't be alone because you can't have a seat for one. So all this wrapped up in this story is kind of just like, dude, I think, I don't know. I was just so appalled by some of the stuff that Hollywood does nowadays. You're like, man, where's the original ideas at? Then you get an original idea like this, something that you may not have seen before, and you're just like, man, see, this is the kind of stuff that should be making close to $1 billion, not something with two blue people that we've seen 20,000 times.
I'll hold your horses on that one.
The Smurfs made $1 billion.
Smurfs.
I don't know. I think this is just the story in itself.
I agree. I agree that the story and the idea is original. It's just whenever I saw some of the stuff, I thought it was going to be a straight up slasher film. Like, you go to this restaurant and they're there and it's secluded and they just kill you when you're there. Like, yes, they are dying, but I thought it was more so like Saw style.
Well, I didn't really think Saw style. My original theory about this movie was they're cannibals. They bring these people onto the island and then they kill them and then they serve them to guests, or they've captured a whole bunch of people. Because there's a scene where, like you said, Craig, they're just walking through the island and they go to the meat shed and they say, like, okay, why can't we just eat this? And they say, oh, because like in 30 seconds she'll get like a bacterial infection and die horribly. It's like, okay.
I thought the same thing when I saw the trailer. I thought this was going to be like a cannibalism, some kind of movie, but I'm kind of glad it wasn't, honestly.
Yeah,
I do enjoy the twist that I still don't know 100% why Ralph Fiennes is the way he is. I think it's just kind of, he's gotten so numb to life at this point, and he's kind of at the point where he's taking people who have done wrong. You know, it's not, these aren't just random people. It's people that he feels like shouldn't be around because they're causing harm to other people.
Exactly.
They're being punished for their misdeeds, basically.
Right.
And I love that aspect of it. Like when they bring out the tortillas with the little scenes of their life pictures on there, I was like, that. I love that. That was so creative, so brilliant. And like,
again, don't get me wrong, the same thing with Nicholas Holt's character Tyler. So okay, I get the whole thing about the Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Margot or whatever her name was, but that's your biggest sin right there. But other than that, your biggest sin is taking some pictures of food when you were asked.
But people do that. They're obsessed with like taking pictures of like really good looking food.
Well, I don't think. Let's hold on. Let's hold the brakes there. I don't think that's his biggest sin is taking pictures of food.
His biggest sin
his biggest sin was bringing her without her having the knowledge. That's what I said.
No,
I said
no. I think his biggest sin is he's obsessed and he doesn't know how to let go of this obsession. Like when Anna Taylor-Joy is saying, "Can you believe this? We need to leave." He's just like, "Are you crazy? Like, look what he's doing. This is awesome." It's just like, no, get out of there.
Ralph Fiennes has him there at his kitchen because he is so obsessed with food that he knows he's not only does he know that he's going to die, he pays somebody else to come with him to be punished for his obsession.
Yeah.
And that is why Ralph Fiennes deems him as somebody that needs to go with him.
Well, not only that, but I think he actually deems him as somebody who's not worthy of the ending of the finale. And that's part of the reason why he brings him into the back. Because don't get me wrong, the three characters I was highly, highly like really into was Hong Chau's Elsa, Ralph Fiennes' Chef Slowick, and Anya Taylor-Joy. You know, Leguizamo was all right, but it was just his interaction with his date or Felicity, his assistant.
But that is I feel like that is an actual relationship that happens, though.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
all of these
Yeah.
all of these tables, all of these stories, you end up finding out why they're there and what kind of arrogant people they are being at this restaurant. And I mean, I think it's I don't know, for an hour and 47-minute movie, it gives you every table's little tiny backstory. Plus,
Mhm.
I mean, it delivers so much in just an hour and 45-minute film that, like, and some directors, some writers may not be able to get this done, not even in a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. So to
Yeah.
get this done in an hour and 47 to me was
Well,
kind of just
What did-
well,
phenomenal.
the only one that was kind of just throwing me off for a loop, and they kind of play with the idea was the old couple, because I thought originally it was like, is this like is Anna Taylor Joy like his daughter? It's but no, he's just like having an affair or like sleeping around
he
with
was hiring a
different women.
stripper.
Yeah.
And that's Anya Taylor-Joy's. I'm going to say this loosely. She's not really sinning because she's in the industry. That's what she's supposed to be doing. She's not harming anybody else because that is her profession.
Yeah.
He is the one that is, harming his wife because of the, cheating and adultery.
So before the taco scene that we kind of mentioned, you guys, we talked about the tortillas. What do you guys think of the story with his mother and the scissors?
I thought that was made up. I mean,
Of course, it's made up. It's in a movie.
I
you know
feel
what I
like
mean.
I can understand why they added it in there just so they can add some trauma to his life to kind of
At the end of the movie, it kind of makes you feel sorry for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, to be honest.
Well,
okay,
on
so,
everything
like-
today.
What made
I
me
think
what made me feel more sorry for him is because literally, like, one of his last moments is finally getting the joy back. Because I think you touched on it a bit earlier, Zach. He kind of felt numb to life. And I don't really think it was just life that he felt numb to. It was his profession as well as what he felt he was supposed to be here doing. And with that being said, he's creating these artistic and wonderful designs of food, and he gets to work with some of the greatest ingredients in the world, literally. But at the end of the day, it's to people he deems as you're never filled, you're never sufficiently satisfied.
I like
So
how he
when
explains the food too. Like, don't eat the food,
taste it.
taste it, savor it,
Yeah.
enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
pretty. That was pretty good dialogue.
Well, and I think that, but that's the point of that's the point of a character that I personally enjoy. It's just like he's a world-renowned chef. He feeds all these hot, hooty-tooty, high-profile people that
Big
only want to
brain,
come
too.
here because it's like, oh, we were on the list. We paid our money. They don't really give a shit about the food. They just want to have the experience. But when Anna Taylor-Joy does and all I want is a cheeseburger, there just brings like a sense of joy back to him. That's just like,
because
Exactly.
that's what he grew up doing. He was happy doing that, making comfort food for people who enjoyed the actual meal that they were eating, not just for their experience, to take pictures, to showboat to other people that they have money and they can afford to go here.
And
I really did enjoy that concept of kind of putting that to light, that people are not in the moment anymore. It's all about showing your wealth and showing your experience. And like, yes, you can share your experience without being too douchebaggy. You can be excited, like, hey, I'm finally able to do this. This is an experience I've wanted for a long time. Whereas those people is just like, we've been here 7, 8, 9 times, and I can't tell you a meal that I've had. Because he asked the old couple to name a meal.
That's another thing right there, because he was like, okay, most people are blessed when they come here once, let alone twice. How many times have you been here? 11? And on top of that was that, and then on top of that, more than likely was naming that, you haven't just been here with her, just to say, but at the same time, like, I felt that with his character, it was kind of an extreme, like I said, an exaggerated extreme of like a Gordon Ramsay, because, whenever whenever you go ahead and say something against Gordon Ramsay on one of his shows, he's always got an answer back for you. All to where I feel like the extreme exaggerated version here didn't ever get any lip because you're simply like, this is chef, like world renowned, best in the business, top class of anybody,
But
and he doesn't have that clap back from anybody. So when he actually does literally get a clap back from somebody and
Because
saying, I don't like the food,
that's another problem with all these people. They're all yes men. They're all just, no matter what you tell me, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah,
except for the table that really wanted the bread.
Yeah. But I think that's the joy in Anna Taylor-Joy's character, is that she sees through the bullshit of all this whole entire scheme. And so I think that's why, even though Chef or Ralph Fiennes doesn't really know why she's here, because he respects her in the end, because he said, do you want to be one of them, or do you want to die like them, or do you want to be one of us?
Because
and be part of this.
You can just tell when people are from the service industry because they get it.
Yeah.
Working as a waiter for a little bit, Johnny, we worked at the bowling alley. We kind of we've all been in that service industry, or currently even in the service industry, and it's just different than corporate world. Because corporate world, it's all, what can I do to please everybody? Whereas when you're in the service industry, these people don't really give a damn about you. They want their meal, they want their product, they want it, and they don't care how they talk to you or what they do to you. And like, I think him seeing Anya Taylor-Joy's character kind of portray that she isn't just going to take any and all bullshit from what's going on. She's going to tell you like it is. I think it's the character. Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy's character were perfect for this film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the psychological back and forth between them really worked.
Yeah. I'll even go with Elsa. I mean, the commitment of her with that character, for that matter, I thought was, because just how she said no, how she came up and introduced, how she would come up and talk and different things like that. Hong Chao, I think, did splendid with her character.
Yeah.
What
was your favorite course? I would have to say the course that really like kind of set things in motion was the mess, where the guy like basically kills himself onto the. It's just like that sets everything in motion. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what's going on.
Because literally, when they drag the curtain, the see-through curtain, it's just like, okay, and then boom, just like, oh,
yeah,
okay, we are going this way. Kind of thing. So it's like, okay, all things are on deck, but what is all this? What is, I think I would probably have to say I forget what the females course was called. The fourth course, I think, course 4 or course 5 or whatever have you. Where
man's folly. Where the guys had to run out into the forest. Yeah.
I was just like, what the heck? Because literally Ralph Fiennes Chef didn't even get to explain what happened after they were given the head start, because it was just like, well, 45 seconds starts now. Kind of thing.
That dude just dipped.
And I mean, he kind of did the smartest thing, but at the same time, he didn't even listen. It's gonna bring you back here, gonna kill you. Like, what's gonna happen? And he just dips, and that's got to be my favorite part of that.
I would probably have to say my favorite course would be the impromptu Tyler's bullshit.
Yeah,
I liked how
they put the what they were serving, put the name and the ingredients on there, and then when you get to Tyler's bullshit, it's like uncooked meat, terrible spices. It's just like terrible.
Craig, did you have a favorite course?
I'm kind of looking back. I think the funniest one is the breadless plate. Yeah. Because everybody's going there, they all know about this bread that they serve, and today's the day where he doesn't serve it because he's messing with these people, and he gives them, I don't know if it's like a mixture of things that taste like.
I think it's the oils the oils and the sauces you can dip the bread in, or the different butters.
Yeah.
So it's just it's funny because he's telling them like it's like you're not going to get bread and you're going to get this, but then Tyler's still just like, oh my god, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
The innovation of the chef just kind of points to how much of his obsession and willing to take anything from Chef.
One thing that I thought was hilarious was when Lillian got the big bowl of dip or sauce or whatever that was, the whole huge orange bowl, because she was just like, oh, you know.
That's what I was going to bring up. That's what I was going to bring up, because it's like, that's a great commentary on food critics, that like that's their job to go and like, you know, review food places and everything. But that's her sin, is like, you put so many people out of business because it wasn't up to your standards. That's your sin.
What'd you guys think of the guy who helped keep him open during the pandemic? And I love that they used the pandemic in this movie. Second straight movie that we've talked about. What'd you guys think of the hanging angel?
Yeah.
It's somebody who you think is your savior.
Yep.
But he's actually stealing money from you and probably doing a lot of other illegal stuff.
Yep.
So just small stuff like that was just like, man, again.
I will agree. This movie was very creative. Like, I understand my perception of what this movie was going to be was different from what it actually was. It was similar, but it was still different. The creative thought behind coming up with the 7 courses, behind the idea of the restaurant, behind why Chef was doing what he was doing, behind everybody at the tables, like, it was a very original idea. It took concepts of other stuff and made it a very original idea, because it could have been straight up Saw, where he's just some cannibalistic guy going over people he deems are you know, not righteous or worthy of living. But there's reasonings behind everything about it, and the direction they took with it being a little more elegant in the way it went about killing them. I think there's beauty in that.
Could you imagine then he walks out and says, I want to play a game, and like that sets up the whole thing.
He rolls out on a little tricycle from that silver door that they showed earlier.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, the only thing that's truly kind of confusing me is why, like, okay, Tyler, I get with his obsession, but why would any of the others straight up just like, oh, okay, we're going to die? Cool. Here's, you know, $80,000.
Because they see the folly in themselves. Like, when they get the tortillas with the pictures of their lives, I guess it's the Wall Street guys, they get like a printout of like money that they've used, the transactions that they've used against their customers or their clients.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the realization that like, I'm a terrible person, and I probably deserve what's going to happen to me. John Leguizamo is probably the only one I'm just like, I guess because he's just a creep to his client, to his...
It's because he made that doctor movie.
Oh, yeah, he had to waste his time. The chef wasted his time, yeah.
Which was hilarious, and I liked... The funniest part was whenever she calls for help and that guy comes in.
Oh, my God.
He gets the autograph and he tells him, he's like, hey, I love your movie. It was such a twist that you weren't expecting it, where he sits there and he's like, he gets the note, he opens it up, and he's like, he's testing you. He's like, are you going to give him your autograph, or are you going to ask for help?
Yep.
And that whole kind of plot twist where you thought they were actually going to get some help, and he, you know, he tells him that he's
part of the scam.
Yeah.
Kind of seen that
and he uses
coming, to be honest.
And he uses the gun as just like a lighter to light up the candle on the table. I was just like, oh, that I'll admit that got me. I was like, damn.
I had an idea it was coming, but whenever he saw John Leguizamo's character and asked for the autograph, I was like, okay, it's different. He's not just some guy that's going to come in and mess with them.
Yeah. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about the final course, the dessert, the s'more, as it's called?
That was hilarious, especially because it said underneath, what was it, chef, crew, and guests or clients.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I was because literally I had to pause on each one and be like, "What was?" Okay, that was brilliant.
I liked
S'more
how they
pretty
made
funny.
it. I liked how they made the s'more like a very, if you go to a
Elegant
fancy
dessert.
restaurant, yeah, an elegant dessert. It's like very
It's
trim
still
and
a
perfect and
5-star restaurant.
colorful. Yeah.
What
But
do you
you're gonna
think?
die as a s'more.
What do
I
you
did.
think? Oh, go ahead.
Did you guys think that she had kind of turned chef after she asked for the cheeseburger and he started handing out checks? Did you think he had a change of heart at one point, or were you still like, no, they're still gonna die?
I think they were still going to die. I think he had a change of heart for her in the middle of the movie, but I think when she killed Elsa and she was in his house and she saw the pictures, something tells me that she saw something else in the house and was like, this is the way you beat him. Like, this is the way,
she saw him smiling cooking the cheeseburger.
With a
Yeah.
cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not only do you send the food back, but you ask for something in return and you get the to-go box, and I
think
like
she
the whole
passed the
ending.
test. She
Yeah.
passed the test of she was a grateful customer. She enjoyed his food, and it wasn't always about glitz and glam. Like, she just wanted to get something to eat, to go box, and left. That's why she got to live.
Speaking of
also because you weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror movies, guys, I don't know if you guys checked out the recent episode of Friday the 13th or Friday the 14th podcast as we talked Friday the 13th. But this Thursday, January the 19th, we're talking Peacock original horror movie Sick. It's exclusively on Peacock. Go check it out. This might be the kind of slasher movie you guys were wanting and talking about. But that's what we're reviewing this Thursday on Friday the 14th podcast. Sick, the original horror movie on Peacock.
Kind of think that's cool that Friday the 14th talking about Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th.
That's true. It was pretty fun. The episode was released on Friday the 13th.
Yes, sir.
So the ending, the cheeseburger, she gets away, the s'mores, everybody got released and exploded in midair, and she escaped. She was on the boat eating her to-go order of the cheeseburger. Do you guys enjoy the ending? Me personally, I did. Ed, we'll start with you. It sounds like you did not enjoy this movie at all. Did you enjoy the ending at least?
You've seen part of it coming, like the death at least coming. I didn't know if she was going to live or anybody else was going to live for that matter. So, I mean, somewhat yes, but at the same time, it just seemed almost too cliche for itself in a lot of ways. That's really all.
Zach?
I mean, I like the ending. I thought it was a very
satire.
It's a satire way to end it, and the fact that to bon appetit. Here's the final course, the dessert, which you're all gonna die. And Anna Taylor-Joy is just sitting there eating her cheeseburger and takes the napkin that has the menu on it, just wipes her face with it. It's like that's the end of the movie. I thought that was that was good writing.
And then the whole giving the gift bags, that was like, what?
You don't have the gift bag?
It's still a 5-star restaurant.
It was for her, yes, but for the rest, it was just kind of like.
Edward, you need. I think you just need to Google satire and go watch some more satire movies.
Oh no, I understand what a satire movie is. I'm fully aware.
I think that's just the whole. That's the whole concept of this movie, all the way back and forth. Craig, what about you? Did you enjoy the ending?
I thought the ending wasn't as strong as it could have been. I do understand how and why they chose this, where it's an elegant way to set everything in place to completely burn the building and set as much flames for the gas to explode. Could have been a little bit more, but I do understand the elegance of it with it being a 5-star fine dining restaurant.
All right. Favorite scene, Edward, we'll start with you.
The ending.
Credits.
Probably course 4 again, or the Man's Folly course. Probably.
Zach, favorite scene?
Honestly, anytime Ralph Fiennes is on screen, just like the presence of his character, I thought was very just threatening. Just you don't really know what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and everything. I thought he was a very smart. He had a smart strategy to what he was doing, and the mess. I just thought that came out of the left turn. It just like oh damn, okay, here we
It
go.
set the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would have to agree. The mess and then Tyler's bullshit. Craig?
Yeah. So I enjoyed, because we all wanted it to happen when he took Tyler up there and was kind of in his ear like, cook me something.
Yep.
Cook me something. And you would expect somebody to with that much knowledge to be able to at least do something decently, and he puts out some food and he tells him to take off the jacket, and he's like, dude, just go kill yourself. Like, you want to be this obsessive? You're not good enough to be in my kitchen, and you're not good enough to taste my food the rest of the way. So let's go.
Yeah.
Doses.
You know what? Another scene that we didn't bring up that was also a little powerful was when Margot turns the corner and she sees Tyler hanging.
Oh yeah.
She's like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't hesitate. She just looks and then just keeps walking. Like, no remorse, no regret, no nothing.
Well, another scene I liked is when he tells Margot to go get the keg.
Yep.
And Elsa kind of meets her there. You don't expect her to meet her there, and you think she's just following her because she's snooping, and he told her to go there. But no, it's because Elsa doesn't want anybody to replace her as, I guess, first hand in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which that whole thing kind of, it just shows how cynical the entire staff is at that point, because they're all willing to go. They all know they're going to go, yet they still complete a full fine dining experience.
And not only that,
like Bill Belichick said, just do your job. We'll be
not only
okay.
that,
just do your job.
But I mean, it was almost military like.
Yeah.
I mean,
which most 5-star restaurants in the back are.
When you get to something like that, it pretty much is military.
I've been to a pretty decent restaurant.
Yeah, I've been to Chili's.
The best of the 5-star restaurants.
Speaking of 5-star, we don't stop at 5 stars, guys. We go to 10. Edward, out of 10 stars, what's your star rating for the menu?
See, if you give it a 5, that'd be perfect. That just wraps everything up. It just like comes full circle.
It's a 5-star experience.
No, it's not good. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is a 5-star for me, just because, like, I don't know. It's ironic, but I'm not really interested in watching it again. I don't. Ralph Fiennes,
is this worst of the year for you?
Joy. Huh?
Is this worst of the year for you for 2022?
5's pretty low.
Probably, because I think.
Yeah, I was like, you hesitated long enough.
Well, I'm thinking that the 5 is the lowest I've given from last year's movies. So I'd say probably. It was just, to me, it was a bit of a disappointment. Just, I don't know, man. It's
let me wash that menu taste out of you guys' mouth right quick.
Clean the palate with the tea.
Let me clean your mouth and take that 5-star rating out of here. I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I think it was an absolute Anna Taylor joy to watch. I think it was also like I said, Ralph Fiennes to me is his presence in this movie, at least, anytime he talks, anytime he's on the screen, you just want to stop what you're doing and pay attention, because his presence is that in this movie. It's original, and I honestly dug the presentation from okay, probably the first 15-20 minutes you're kind of like, okay, where is this going? I'm kind of not entertained. And then he claps his hands for the first time, and you're like, okay, I can see him giving a pretty good performance. And then the mess happens, and you're like, holy shit. That's where this movie kicks off. And the dialogue is superb.
And taking of the ring finger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And Ralph Fiennes. If you guys still don't know what to think of this movie after you listen to this podcast, just go watch it for the performance of Ralph Fiennes. If you take anything away from this episode, so I give it an 8. Craig, what about you?
I feel like what I was hoping for kind of drops this down one. I think it does just a little bit. I'm going to give it a 7. I do think Ralph Fiennes completely controls the screen when he's on there. I think Anya Taylor-Joy and his chemistry is remarkable. I don't like the casting of Tyler. That's just me, but I mean, it might be more than just me. But I do understand why his character was written that way. I do like the vibe of the movie, and I do like the kind of original concept of it. So I'll give it a 7, a solid 7.
Zach, finish us off.
I'm going to go with you, Johnny. I'm going to give it a solid 8. I think this is everything you said. The two main performances, Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm glad they at least got some recognition. They were nominated at the Golden Globes. I think they're the best parts of this movie. The twist work, the social satire works, the commentary on just like how we are about things that are luxurious but not really. I think it was really well done. To be honest, I don't know if I'd watch it again because I just know all the twists and turns and everything. So it's just like
things
to catch things. Yeah,
to enjoy it. It would be to see the different things that you could catch earlier on.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the rewatchability is not really there for me, but it was a really fun experience to watch it. So I'll give it an 8.
I can't wait to honestly try to sit down and rewatch this again. I think that's gonna do my old telltales of just the way this movie might go for the top 5 of 2022. But from one satire that is just tremendously, talked about and a lot of people loved from last year, to a satire that a lot of people kind of hate from last year. Next week we're talking
This movie got hate?
Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah, this movie got some hate.
No, they got a lot of hate. Yeah.
Got a lot of hate, got a lot of negative performances, supposedly. But you know what? Chris Pine and Florence Pugh, I, for one, cannot wait to see it. I missed it in theaters. It's on HBO Max. That's what we're talking about next week. Don't Worry, Darling. We've talked pretty much anything we can about Florence Pugh, other than a few of her other movies. So I think this is going to be kind of a joy to watch. What about you guys? Anything you guys have heard about Don't Worry, Darling? Has anybody seen it yet?
Nope.
My sister-in-law said she liked it, so
I just got done watching it before hopping on here, so this is my second watch. So
okay.
Did you like it?
We'll find out.
It is available to buy on Blu-ray and DVD, or you guys can check it out again on the HBO Max. Don't Worry, Darling. You also have Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles in there as well. So
we really need to get paid by HBO Max because we've been HBO Maxing it up lately.
Before we get out of here and before we put the final nail in the coffin and the menu, you guys have anything you want to add to this episode before we move on to next week?
What's the week after?
The week after is Black Adam. Another HBO Max movie. So
are we doing Donnie Darko the first week of February?
Yes, first week of February.
That's HBO Max it up again.
Yeah, first week of February is Donnie Darko.
They never reached back out to me after that email I sent them.
you notice they try to change their name and move location, so.
I thought HBO Max was done. Wasn't that?
You know what? We're gonna talk some more about it probably when we talk Black Adam, because there's the whole Warner Brothers thing and the whole Warner Brothers debacle and DC and what happens. And do you smell what the Rock is cooking? We'll find out in 2 weeks.
It wasn't what Ralph Fiennes was bringing to the table.
Brother was bacon. Brother was bacon.
I think before we get out of here, I just want to mention on when I do recent watches. Technically, I went and saw The Whale, the new A24 movie with Brendan Fraser. Like in typical A24 fashion, it's not going to be for everyone, but I highly recommend it. I'll just say I'm glad to have Brendan Fraser back. So it's
not going to be for Ed, is what you're saying.
I don't know. It's just
Stop.
let's just say it. Like I said, it's not going to be for everything. Everybody, it's going to be. It's either going to be you really like it or you hate it. So
the fat CGI Brendan Fraser, did it look bad?
no, it was all a practical like suit that he wore. So it actually looked really good.
There's a scene that he's in that I saw just a few moments ago before I hopped on here. Unbelievable. He looked like he was just he was HBO maxing it up.
Did you see his acceptance speech?
No,
Yeah,
I did not.
He won last night at the Critics' Choice Awards. This movie will put you to tears, dude.
Did he win Best Actor at the Golden Globes?
No, Austin Butler won.
Austin did.
So
tell me why I knew you were gonna do that. Because Stone Cold says so. Austin 316 says I'm gonna win this award.
But go check out The Whale. It's still in theaters. You can go see it at the Warren or AMC, Penn Square, Harkins, wherever. So
The Whale. Hey, don't talk about my ex-mother-in-law like that.
Hey, listen.
What the?
All right, guys, it's been fun. The Menu is a great movie. Go check it out on HBO Max.
With your face being red, you look like a little Dippin' Dot doing that. Not a Dippin' Dot, but a dot. Those candies, the dot.
A Macchiato cherry.
Macchiato. What is that? Is that the kid from Karate Kid?
That's Ralph Macchio.
Sounds exactly like what you said.
Don't forget, I'm glad there's a whole week in between episodes, because if we had an episode tomorrow and the Dallas Cowboys lost today, I'd probably call in. Don't forget that game starts in like 15 minutes. If you're watching this live, go check it out. Go support your Dallas Cowboys. If they lose, none of y'all motherfuckers better text me.
So just like inundiate him with text messages, basically.
All right, guys. Until next week, we see you on HBO Max. We'll watch Don't Worry, Darling, and you'll hear the review right here next week, next Monday, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.